Secrets, if you really look at yourself, you would be speechless. What happened to being doctors and teachers? What happened to being your brother's keeper? Nowadays, kids more worried about the
And do it all again, baby, I ain't saying so. Ooh, break me out. And get out when the lights is out. I'm summertime, you put that game on pop. And do it all again, baby, I ain't saying so. My knees get weak when you touch me. Body, use it, sex game, stupid. The body's on fire. Ooh, let me alone till you get tired. Ooh, baby, you got what and you the real one, I'm inspired.
Yo, what is poppin'? It's the top of the week, so you already know what time it is. It's your boy, Mr.BandClap, at it again with another on point Orisha Tarot forecast spread. And this is going to be for the week of Monday, October the 3rd through Sunday, October the 9th of 2022. Shouts out to everyone out there who made it through the crazy month of September. You know, we've made it through the summer. You know, we're now officially in the fall. You know, September was a real trying month, you know, and you know, shouts out to everyone who made it through, who's still here in the land of the living or whatever. You know, as we know, we lost Coolio. You know, and I know he's not the only one that's passed away, you know, in the month of September and stuff like that. So before I get started again, I just want to send a shout out and a thank you to everyone who, you know, who checked on me and stuff like that. You know, we had a real crazy storm that happened, and you know, there's some people out there that's really going through it. So, you know, all the well wishes and stuff like that, I definitely appreciate that. As you all know, right now, let's do some Orisha astrology. The sun is in Libra, shining over the 7th house as of right now. And the moon right now is in Capricorn, and it is shining over the 11th house. The 10th house is in Sagittarius, and Aquarius is in the ascendant house right now, you know, in the 1st house. So, you know, we all know that Libra, you know, this is the story of Obanani. You know, Libra is the lawyer, and we all know about Maya and everything like that. With the moon being in Capricorn in the 11th house, and then with the ascendant house right now being in Aquarius, you know, right now, this is kind of shedding a light on the things that Obanani was going through mentally, you know, and this is before Shango came on the scene. You know, she was a queen. She was a queen of this kingdom or whatever, and you know, there was a transition that was going on to where she knew that in order for her status to be respected, aka Sagittarius being in the midheaven right now, she needed to connect with a king. She needed to connect with someone who's worthy of being a king, that's going to raise the status of that kingdom. So we know that Shango at this point in time, you know, he was still in his womanizer phase, you know, his player phase. You know, he's young, he's powerful. You know, he's got a lot of battles and stuff under his belt by himself and things like that. But Obatala knew that in order for Shango status to be the king that he was always meant to be, and also in order for the kingdom to be able to trust that the rulership is going to be ironclad. It was Obatala that put Shango and Obanani together. And I made a whole video about Shango and his 3 wives, talking about that whole process. And when you kind of look at what's going on in the world right now, that's kind of how we have to start thinking as well. You know, we're talking about relationships, you know, we're talking about status, things like that. But then it's Capricorn, so it's kind of dry, you know, it's not something that we would necessarily look for, but it's what's needed in order to get the job done. It's what's needed in order to get the mission complete or whatever. To back this up even more, you know, I always like to tell y'all about the dreams that I had. Shout out to I think her name is Alafia on Instagram. She made this video talking about you know, something that she's seen in the sky, and the thunder was pink in the sky, and I saw it on my Instagram, and I just had to remix that video. And if it wasn't for me talking about my dreams, and if it wasn't for me using this platform as a way to record and things like that, nobody would ever believe that a lot of the things that a lot of these spiritualists be coming out with, and you know, a lot of different things, is stuff that I've talked about a lot of times days, sometimes weeks beforehand. And I'm just glad that, you know, I can use this platform as a receipt in a way, because, you know, being Eshu, since Eshu is a baby, he's not a very believable type of person. You know, nobody, because of the way that we've been programmed in this world and stuff like that, to look at children, to look at babies, to look at anyone who has a childlike spirit. You know, we have this thing to where we don't look at these people as powerful. You know, it took for Obatala to step in and, you know, and be like, yo, you know, why haven't y'all let Eshu give it a try? You know, y'all must have forgot Eshu is an Orisha as well. Nobody wanted to respect Eshu for the powerful Orisha that he was. It took for Obatala to step in. And in this world now, to where you have a lot of baby Eshus that could have been some very, very great things in this world, but you know, they didn't have a Obatala father to elevate them and to keep them motivated and things like that. So a lot of Eshus end up turning into a life of crime. A lot of them end up becoming a product of their environment. They become statistics and stuff like that. So you know, that's why I'm just glad that I was born in the particular family that I was born in. And I know it probably wasn't easy. I know it wasn't easy dealing with someone like me, but you know, with the many people that I've helped in this journey and stuff like that, it made it worth it. And I wouldn't want to do nothing but to you know, make my family proud, you know, make them see that it was a good thing that I didn't go to that boot camp. You know, it's a good thing that I didn't go to that juvenile. It's a good thing that I didn't go down that path, because I definitely wouldn't be the person that I am today. So yesterday I was just feeling very uninspired. I had a whole live stream that I was going to come out with. I was going to have a special guest, and that all of that is going to happen still on down the line. I got a gig that I might be going to later on this week, so we'll just see how that goes. But you know, it's to the point now to where every time I take that last little nap in the morning before it gets too hot outside, I'm always able to get the direct answer, either of what's the message that I should tell the people, or a question that I've been trying to figure out in my life or whatever. With the current alignments and stuff that was going on yesterday, it was just, I just felt out of it. Like I was just uninspired. it was like on the inside I was feeling good, but on the outside I was just it just yesterday just wasn't it. It just wasn't it. Another thing too, before I get into that, when you know who you are and you get to the point where you can start looking at other people and seeing how they connect with you and stuff like that, it's good for you to have some messengers to always keep you on point, even when you're not giving a message. So, for example, when we talk about the baby SU, his messengers are little mice, dogs, things like that. Ocean, her messenger is the peacock, the crocodile. Oya, her messengers are spiders, wolves, and snakes, and eagles sometimes too. And the more you go on this journey, the more you're going to find these things out. So for me, in order to keep me on point, I have to understand who I am. Eshu is very unconventional. He's very unconventional, which means that Eshu has a lot of deep knowledge to give. You have to be the type of person who's looking for that type of knowledge in order for you to see that what he's talking about is something that is going to benefit you. You have to live a certain type of lifestyle to where he's able to bestow this type of information, because if you're living a lifestyle that's full of limits, you got to be put in a box, you got to be politically correct, you can't say this, you can't say that, you can't go here, you can't go there. Since the baby SU is like a childlike pure spirit, he's not going to really want to walk with you like that, because he can't do nothing. He can't do stuff with you because you're so in a box. So when I'm looking out, on YouTube, on social media, stuff like that, and I'm trying to find different messengers to listen to always keep me on point, I have to kind of look through that filter in order for me to find these messengers, which means that I can't necessarily listen to what other people have to say about these said people, because a lot of baby SUs, even if they're doing good, they all got this kind of era of, you shouldn't listen to this person because of blank. And it always got to do with something superficial. It always got to do with something petty, Virgo type stuff. He's crazy in the head. He's low-key mentally ill. I don't agree with some of his antics or whatever. And then I go on their page and I can put all of that aside and really, really listen to the things that they're saying, and the stuff that they're saying is actually making more sense than any preacher, than any YouTube spiritualist, than any other person that you would look at as someone that's more credible than them. So, and this happens naturally when I find certain people on YouTube. For example, some versions of Eshu that I like to watch on YouTube is Haitian Boko and Mera, Daylight, the battle rapper Daylight, and think about the type of reputation that they have. Think about the type of things on their name that has been said, but see how they're still successful. They still doing it big. Even though they might have done some crazy things in the past that may be unconventional. And then, since I'm a version of Legba as well, I listen to a lot of old heads, like a lot of old heads who have wisdom. People like Tariq Nasheed, people like Pharaoh said that. Pharaoh said that he literally looks like a Legba when you look at him. He an old man, but he don't play. He's in shape. He talks about veganism. I ain't even got to say too much about Tariq. His resume just speaks for itself. And then I have to find someone that represents the Baron. So there's literally someone named the Baron that I watch. Also people like Dolo the Pilot Man. People like Bobby Hemmett. He's a a version. He's like an exalted version of Eshu. And then you got Brother Panic, you know, and then he has a wife named Khadijah Samdi, you know. So and those are just a few, because at the end of the day, you know, a lot of times, even though you try your best to listen to your inner spirit team, and you try to listen to your inner voice and things like that, just me talking about myself, there's still sometimes where I doubt the things that's being said. So it's good to have a messenger on the outside that can confirm what was already told to you on an inner level, you know. And then once you get good at putting certain messengers around you that represent yourself, then you gotta add different messengers around you that would represent your counterpart in a way. So I know when it comes to Eshu, Oya would be his counterpart, you know. So I have some daughters of Oya, like Aphrodite Stone, you know, that I listen to sometimes, you know. Shout out to Esoteric Esther, you know, she's another Oya energy that I listen to a lot. You know, she has a lot of dope things that she's doing, you know, just to name a few. And then you know, I always got to have some baby Oshuns. I always got to have some Oshun energies around me, because the baby Oshun keeps Eshu motivated. You know, the baby Eshu, he understands that he has to be on point, because at the end of the day, you know, the baby Oshun looks up to him in a way. You know, when the baby Oshun is in the world, everybody is worshiping her, and you know, everybody is looking at her as this goddess and all of that. And a lot of times it's hard for her to be vulnerable around these people. It's hard for the baby Oshun to find someone that she can actually be a baby for a change. Like, she can actually let him lead. You know, she can actually you know, put things in the hands of someone else that she trusts. And a lot of times it's hard for her to find that in the outside world. So you know, the Oshun energies that I have around me, you know, shout out to my girl Pelly. You know, she's the voice of the grown-up Oshun. Shout out to Natural Market, aka Tori the Oracle. She's my Taurus Oshun. Shout out to Nay. She's my Libra Oshun. And you know, and others. I don't want to give everybody out, but you know, I just want to show gratitude. And you know, even though I walk alone on this journey, I'm not really alone, you know, because especially, and then another thing too, especially and you don't have to necessarily have a Orisha statue or anything like that. You don't necessarily have to have that. You know, you can create your own thing, and you know, and program it. You know, this is a power that Eshu has. You know, the ability to create dolls, the ability to mimic things like that. But you know, all of our inner children can do this. So a lot of times, if there's a message that I need, if there's you know, something when it comes to prosperity or wealth or just something dealing with Oshun's energy, I have a Oshun statue. You can go to my old On Point Orisha Tarot videos and see what she looks like. She's one of a kind. I haven't seen another statue that even remotely looks like that. And I can look at that statue, and spiritually, I program myself to where spiritually I can tell when I'm about to get a message from one of her messengers. You know, a lot of times I would get the message, and then Melanie, the spirit doula, would end up coming out with a video you know, as a confirmation to let me know, like, yo, I'm trying to get in contact with you. Then all of a sudden, all of my baby Ochuns end up hitting me up on Instagram, you know, just telling me like random stuff, you know. It's something that Tariq Nasheed said in his latest video. He was like, even though I'm no longer in the streets and I don't deal with that type of stuff, because I have a good track record in the streets, you know, I still have street people around me to get information if I so need it. So he was like, you know, never think that that you're gonna do something and I'll never find out who you are, because there's always somebody that knows you, you know. And that's how it is with Eshu. You're never supposed to underestimate him. There's a reason why Eshu is able to stay able. In my animated series, you know, on down the line, I'm gonna show what Eshu will look like when he's in his body. You know, but at the end of the day, you know, he's the way he is for a reason. You know, there was this old song, I think it was called Shake Your Tail Feather, where Murphy Lee was like, I ain't gotta be hard, I got women to handle that. You know, sometimes when you have some powerful goddesses, a lot of times those can be way more powerful than having a bunch of male goons, you know. Because at the end of the day, you're a bad MF if you can get both. You know what I mean? So so this kind of leads me to the dream that I had. I want to share this with y'all because this is what this OPOT is going to be based on. Real quick dream. Before I went to sleep, I asked what is going to be next for me in the future. You know, when it comes to my animation, when it comes to the things that I'm trying to accomplish with my business and with my brand and all of that type of stuff. And I had a this dream was very telling. Very telling. So it started off, there was this huge meeting that I needed to go to. There was some very powerful investors at this meeting. It took place at this hotel. It was like a hotel ballroom, real prestigious hotel ballroom. Now, it was a mission. It was a mission for me to get in this hotel ballroom so I can go to this meeting. I don't know, maybe it was because you know, the people in the front didn't believe that I was who I said I was, or what. All I know was the whole process of me getting in this hotel, it was on some James Bond type shit. So I remember I ended up crawling up the sides. I ended up going through this vent passageway, and I ended up getting inside that way. I ended up opening up the vent that led to like this laundry chute or whatever. So I slid down the laundry chute, and I ended up in these linen sheets, like they were clean or whatever. They were strategically placed right there, and there were two real cute black women, and they were maids, you know. Now, what I found out later on was that you know, these women, like, I knew them. You know, they worked for the hotel, but I knew them. I had a relationship with them, and you know, they were kind of like the ones that were my connections on the inside. You know, so they told me at what time to go there, what time to do this. So, you know, once I got there, they had like a change of clothes for me. You know, they had all my stuff and all of that stuff. So it was a team effort type of thing. So once I was able to you know, get past the people in the front and all that stuff, and I was finally able to get to this party, I was able to get to the people who were the investors. They were extremely surprised that I was able to get in, and I was able to be in front of them. You know, that alone made them very interested in what I had to offer. So they had like this monitor, and what I showed them was so freaking crazy. So pretty much what it was an episode of Eshu's World, but the way it looked so amazing. Like, it was crazy, you know. Just watching this, you know, just me thinking about this dream and remembering what I saw, it was crazy. You know, it was an episode of Eshu's World. It wasn't nothing but like 3 minutes of content. But it was pretty much everything that I've always wanted Eshu's World to look like. It was everything that I wanted it to look like. So, one thing that you can do when you really learn how to control your dreams, and you can really, learn how to retain from your astral body. I was able to retain a lot of the thoughts and a lot of the memories that I had while I was in that dream. You know, the me that was in that dream, I was able to retain a lot of the memories and stuff like that. So, number one, the reason why it looked that good, there was some white guys. These guys are responsible for doing CGI, responsible for doing animation with Unreal Engine 5, and they were very, very advanced at what they did. So what ended up happening is I ended up striking a deal with them to where they helped me flush out a lot of the minute details with my animation. Now, it's funny that I said white guys, because in this life, it's something that I wouldn't really be trying to go out my way to do that. But at the end of the day, the finished product was amazing. The finished product was amazing. Another thing, also, the biggest thing was I paid attention to the stuff that I put in the opening credits. Not only did it say BandClap Entertainment and Media, the biggest thing was it said distributed by, and this is a super well-known production animation company. Man, I woke up this morning, that was all the motivation I needed. You know, the reason why I was getting with these investors was because I was showing them, everything that I got, everything that I was able to do, and with their help, I was going to be able to upscale not only the production and stuff like that, because I was going to use that money to get better equipment, to get better processing power and all of that type of stuff. I was also going to use this not only so I can compensate my voice actors. One of the biggest things that I want to be able to do once this animated series really gets off the ground, I want to be able to really compensate my voice actors and stuff like that. I've heard horror stories with these major publishing houses, these major animation studios, on how these people treat their voice actors, and I want to be different. So not only was I able to do that, but this will also help me to upscale when it comes to selling merch and hiring artists and things like that to help me with my merch. So this meeting was a really big meeting. The investors were extremely satisfied with what they saw, and I left that meeting with like what Ludacris say, with a big ass check. So that was a very powerful dream. And then when I have these type of dreams, I always wake up and spirit is always talking to me and stuff like that. And the main thing that I got was, number one, this fight that that Daylight was talking about in his live stream. This fight that a lot of us that's trying to stay true to to being positive, to really being able to put agenda free content content that's really going to make people want to invest in it and stuff like that. All of this time, we thought that we were alone. We thought that we were alone. But after me having this dream and, Spirit talking to me, Spirit was like, no, you're not alone. There's more people than you think. There's even people in high places that's tired of all of this shit that's going on right now. The thing about it is, when it comes to this, only we can hold ourselves back. What is it really about at the end of the day? And I pose this question to y'all too. Is it about keeping it real, to appease your is it about keeping it real to appease people that's not even trying to invest in you, that's not even in a position to really help you in the way that you need to be helped? Or is it really about the message? Is it really about getting a message out here that's really going to put a positive change for our children, put a positive change for the teens and the adults and things like that, of the soul family? Because the main thing that I got out of this dream, number one, this war that's going on out here, there's a war on all fronts. These two companies, film production companies, they've been rivaling with each other since the 1900s. This other, I'm not going to say any names, but there's two huge giants in the animation and production industry. One tried to buy out the other. They failed at it. So in the middle of this, they're out here looking for the next best thing. They're out here looking for the next thing that's going to that's going to end up putting them back on top in a way. Now, when this happened in the past, this is how we got a lot of the iconic black shows that we know today. And the reason why a lot of these companies, a lot of these shows and stuff aren't around anymore is because a lot of the black people that were put in certain positions and stuff like that, they wasn't financially savvy. They didn't read their contracts. They was just happy to get a check. They didn't read anything, and stuff like that. So what this dream is saying is something like this is about to happen again in the animation industry. We've already seen Black Sands Entertainment, which is a black-owned comic book company, go to Deal or No Deal or the Shark Tank? No, they went to the Shark Tank, and to try to get a deal and things like that. And look how big they are now, So, like I said, the moon is in Capricorn, and it's over the 11th house, and it's also over the 12th house right now, which means that a lot of us are trying to associate with the right person, place, or thing, or company, or whatever, that's going to elevate your status in a way that in a very high exalted type of way, which is Sagittarius in the 10th house. I hate to say it, but right now, in the state that we're in right now, we don't really have a lot of black skin, brown skin people that own film companies, that own access to the big networks and things like that, that we can really invest into. Now, the higher ups that own these other film companies, they're at war right now. Being smart about this situation. You can have a chance. You can have a chance to get your stuff out. Be able to still keep your message. Still keep different things intact and all of that stuff. Because at the end of the day, it's all about, will the people gravitate towards you? It's all about if the people are going to support. And we know that, I hate to say it, but with our people, if we find out that a certain name or that a certain brand is backing us, that'll be all that's needed in order for us to get a lot of support, until things change to where that's no longer a thing. But for right now, that's what the thing is, So even though you might have to partner up with a person, place, or thing, or company that might not look like you in skin color. You might have to partner up with some people that might not look like you in ethnicity or of race or anything like that. They may be LGBT, whatever. But at the end of the day, as long as you make sure that the contracts are balanced, because we know that Libra in the 7th house, we know that deals with contracts and legal matters too. So as long as you got your lawyer and you make sure that everything is balanced, everything makes sense, at the end of the day, you still hold the rights to your intellectual property, and you still hold the rights to everything that goes in it and all of that stuff. Right now, this is a game that can work in our favor right now. Y'all don't realize how much infighting is going on. And the thing about it is, every time that there's infighting going on, there's always a window of infiltration that's open. Very important. And at the end of the day, you can use this window of infiltration to really make your dreams come true right now. You can really use this window of infiltration to associate with the right people, places, and things in high places that can really make you into the GOAT, to where instead of being in the situations of times past where we're the ones that's desperate for them, now they're in a situation to where now they're desperate for us. And when they're desperate for you, then now you're the game maker, and they have to play your game instead of you having to play their game. So at the end of the day, that's what this is going to be about. Associating with the right people, places, and things that can make your dreams come true. Using the situation at hand to your benefit, because at the end of the day, you should be smart enough to make sure that all of the all the things that our forefathers and our foremothers had to go through because they didn't read their contracts, because they didn't look after their things of that nature. We should have learned from them what not to do and what to do. And then once we become the GOAT, now you can create your own company. You can create your own thing and hire whoever you want to hire. But at the end of the day, we got to start somewhere. With the advent of AI and all of this stuff taking over, a lot of things and a lot of tools that we used to didn't have at our disposal. You used to have to pay a lot of money. You used to have to know a certain person, or a certain be associated with a certain publishing house, or associated with a certain animation company. That's no longer the case. That's no longer the case. I've showed y'all that. I've never went to animation school. I've never went to anything of that nature. But I showed y'all with the first 2 episodes of Issues World what someone can do if they just put in the work and put in the time. Now, we know at the end of the day, when it comes to special effects, the Asians are really good at that. When it comes to different environments and backgrounds and different things of that nature, a lot of the Middle Easterns are good at that. When it comes to programming and all of that, at the end of the day, what I'm getting at is this can still be you can still create something that is going to be for your people, but in order for you to get it to a certain audience, in order for you to get it all across the world and stuff like that, you might have to shake hands with other races of people, and you might have to divvy up different tasks between the people, places, and things and companies that you know is going to do a optimum job. Because it's gonna take a while for us to get deprogrammed to where this will never have to be a thing again. But for right now, I don't see any other way. Even when it came to me getting the knowledge to do what I've done, most of the YouTube channels that I've watched that has the information I need are Indian, they're Middle Eastern, Indian, or Asian. I hate to say it. Other than Black Sands, and Black Sands is 2D. I'm doing a 3D animation, so that's even more hard to find someone of my ethnicity, and then someone of my ethnicity that is in a high place, that has associations with the companies and the things that I would need, so that I can be in those same conversations as a Disney, as a DreamWorks, as a Warner Brothers, as a Marvel, So, that's something that that's definitely going to be, looked at within these next few years. So let's get to the reading. So, as you all know, these are per day, 7 rows for 7 days. What you see in front of you is not going to be what's going to be in the actual reading, because I pulled a lot of clarifiers. This is going to be a very, very deep, in-depth reading. A lot of clarifiers had to be pulled for some of these. So what I'm showing you now, this is how it was before I pulled the clarifiers. So, and the clarifiers are nothing but to just clarify certain aspects of the spread for the reading. So, all of these are by day. You all may not go through or experience these things on a particular day. It's just something for you to be cognizant about during this week. So, as you can see, these 2 cards that are on the right hand or on the left hand side, these are from the Santa Muerte Oracle deck. 32 cards grouped in rows of 8, and these are talking about the 4 worlds. So each set of 8 represents one of the 4 worlds: the world of emanation, the world of formation, the world of creation, and the world of action. So let's see what we got. So as you can see, the first card that we have for the overall, because that's what these 2 cards represent, the overall for this week. So the 7th card, it represents the feminine, and since it's reversed, this is talking about the inner feminine, the inner feminine. So last week, as you know, the focus was more based on the inner masculine. We really had to be strong due to the storms and the different things that we were going to go through for for everything that happened. We had the hurricane, we had some deaths, some very transformative things that went down last week. So it made a lot of sense that the inner masculine was something that really needed to be cultivated. Now, due to all the retrogrades and all the other things that's going on planetarily now it's very important for us to focus on the inner feminine. Now, feminine doesn't mean woman. It doesn't mean girl. It just means your creative side, your emotional side, which is energy and motion. All of those things that represent essence. all those things that represent essence. This is what the feminine represents. And on an inner level, this is what's going to be the main focus on keeping this on point for this week. So, as you know, the feminine card is the 7 card. So this is still talking about the first world, which is the world of emanation. So whilst the masculine card presented us with a primordial, active, and creative impulse that still has no form or direction, this card is a complementary to it, a receptive and feminine basis. So feminine is about receiving, which is like a womb or a cocoon. Envelopes the primitive energy, disciplines it, and stabilizes it, giving it a shape. This shape will consent its growth and evolution, but will inevitably give it mortality. So this is talking about take the necessary time to study and meditate before executing your project. Perhaps ask a feminine or maternal figure for advice. So, this is what we're going to be doing on a inner level. So let's see what this card that got the 23 on it is talking about. So as you can see, this is the 27 card. So you got the 7, which is the inner feminine, and then this is an outer card, and it has the 27 on it. So this is from the last world, which is the world of action. So let's see. So this is talking about harvest. So this is talking about harvest, and we're in fall. We're officially in fall right now. Next month, the time is going to change. Literally, the time is going to change. So this says, after an intense and energetic phase of work, it is time to harvest what you have produced. So again, the 7 card, the feminine card, this was kind of talking about all the different things that I had to go through in order for me to get in the building. And then there were these 2 black women maids that helped me once I got inside. So now this is the harvest. 2 plus 7 is 9. So this is me showing these investors this unfinished but well polished episode of Eshu's World. Even though the episode was unfinished, they were extremely satisfied. They were very happy and excited with what they saw, and they were willing to hop on board as investors, especially since I had this stamp of this really, really big production animation company backing me, And all the reason why they were backing me, because they wanted to get back at their competition. But at the end of the day, they was able to accomplish what they wanted to accomplish. And in the end, I was able to accomplish what I was trying to accomplish because I had a good contract. So if your work was in harmony with the higher forces represented by the cards of the higher levels, such as love, fraternity, and flow, or if it was in direct contact with your will, the results will be intense and speedy. If, however, your action was obscured or corrupted in some way, you will have to have the courage to grasp the sickle and cut away that which is not sufficient and start again, without fear of failure and learning from your mistakes. So this talks about you have not yet reached your final realization, but the results are coming. So persevere and continue in your work. So that's what this week is going to be talking about. Doing all the things that you need to do to keep your creativity alive, to keep you in a positive, receiving, creative type of energy, and knowing that your harvest is on the horizon. So you gotta persevere and you gotta continue in your work. All right. So let's see what Monday has for us. So as you can see with this man card reverse, a lot of us right now, shout out to Dolo the Pilot Man. He talked about the way things are going planetarily. A lot of us, when it comes to things dealing with fire and things dealing with water, our emotions, our spiritual messages and things like that. Maybe a little fried right now because of the planetary alignments. So, you know, this may lead to some spiritual uneasiness. You know, things feeling like they're being unanswered. You know, bewilderment, a lack of faith, hopelessness. You know, all of these things were what I was feeling yesterday. You know, just feeling uninspired. You know, all the things that Aretha Franklin was talking about in that first couple sentences of her song "Natural Woman." You know, you was feeling uninspired, you was feeling tired, all these type of things. You know, surrendering to difficulties. You know, just feeling like things are not going to change. You know, just feeling like your work is going to be in vain. Now, the beautiful thing about me is I don't have a particular house in Capricorn. So for me, since Capricorn right now is in the 12th house, Virgo is in my 12th house. My Virgo moon is in the 12th house. So I literally had a dream about the things that I would need to do in order for me to be the GOAT, in order for me to raise my status and be the GOAT in the things that I'm trying to do. You know, that dream showed me that it's not going to be easy. You know, even though I have people on the inside that want to help me and want to see me win, I'm still going to have to figure out a very clever way to get in. You know, Eshu never goes in through the front door. He always got to do some kind of James Bond, Mission Impossible thing to get inside. You know, but once he gets inside, you know, it's a lot more easier for him to move around and things like that. Once he gets inside, he just got to get inside the door. Once I get my foot in the door, I already got people on the inside that's going to make sure that I can get to who I need to get to once I get inside. You know, so and then you got the 7 of Earth. So you know, this is you feeling like a lack of analysis. You know, you just got to remember that at the end of the day, if you truly believe in what you're trying to do, if you truly believe in what you're trying to harvest, especially if this is something that is going to be monumental, something that no one else, it seems like no one else is doing, like what I'm doing with this animation. I'll go ahead and put their name out here. Shout out to DG Animations. They're like really my only competition when it comes to Orisha inspired cartoons. You know, DG Animations, and even with what they have, which, you know, this is no shade to them at all. You know, I love what they're doing over there, but you know, my second episode of Eshu's World, my second episode of Eshu's World is very on par with what they have. You know, which only shows me that at the end of the day, if I can really polish this and I can really get the computing power, the graphics processing power to really put this, you know, be able to tell these stories exactly how they are in my head, man, you know, I'm really not going to have any real competition like that, you know. But at the end of the day, you got to understand that when you're trying to do something like this, you know, you're trying to do something that clearly nobody else is trying to do. You know, 3D animation is extremely hard. You know, 2D animation is hard, but 3D animation is even harder, especially when you're someone like me who doesn't have, you know, thousands of dollars for a motion capture suit and stuff like that. So all the animations that I'm trying to do, either I got to learn about 3D modeling and 3D posing so I can keyframe these animations myself, or I have to pay hundreds of dollars for pre-made animations, you know. So it's not cheap. You know, it's not cheap. This is not cheap. Shout out to Melody, the voice actress who's going to be voicing Ayao. I was just going over with her all the visual effects, all the prices for the visual effects that I'm gonna need just so I can make this next short that's gonna come out before episode 3. And she was floored. She was like, "Oh my God, like, you know, this stuff costs this much money?" And I'm like, "Yeah, those cost a lot of money." but it's still not as much as if I tried to go to DreamWorks or Warner Brothers, or if I tried to go to Disney or something like that. You know, I'm still in the thousands. You know, I'm not in the 100,000s, I'm not in the 10,000s, and I'm definitely not in the millions. So just showing what I can do, just if I had a couple thousand to put in my animated series, will really speak volumes. You know, but it's something that I have to understand that not a lot of people are gonna want to support. You know, nobody really wanted to support Kanye with what he was trying to do. You know, and I can name many other people who did monumental things, but shout out to you know, Pelly. She was telling me, you know, people didn't even support Tyler Perry when he first came out, you know, doing his plays and stuff like that. It took for him to kind of make it big, you know, put something really monumental together. And now Tyler Perry got one of the biggest production studios you know, out right now. You know, he has multi-million-dollar film companies wanting to use his studio for production. You know, so these are the type of things that you're going to need right now. These are the type of communications and motivations and inspirations that you're going to need right now to keep you focused. Because there's not going to be a whole lot of motivation from the outside world of sheep that only look to the brands that they were programmed to gravitate towards, or whatever, you know, that represent high status, you know. And also, when we look at the two cards at the bottom, you know, since right now, you know, spiritually, we're really going to have to tap in spiritually. You know, it may be a little bit, it may be, depending on who you are, it may be a little bit more difficult than it usually is, you know. And a lot of us, spiritually and creatively, we feel like this 5 of Earth. You know, we feel like that there's a hard reality that's keeping you from from being the GOAT. You know, Sagittarius. We feel like that we're going through experiences that's not even going to equal up to us being what we always dreamed of being. You know, Scorpio. You know, we feel like that. Some of us may feel like that maybe our higher selves were manipulating us, you know, to do this impossible mission that's gonna lead to a death. You know, Scorpio. And then we got Mars. You know, this is a real hard fight. You know, Pluto. You know, we feel like that if we succumb, not only is it going to be a deep fall, but since we've had so many people that already doubted us from the beginning, we're not going to really have anyone to pick us up when we fall, because, you know, we're going to just have, you know, everybody's just going to be like, I told you so, I told you so. Because of the things that on an inner level that we've been told spiritually that this is what we need to start doing. You know, this is what we need to start focusing all of our energy towards. For some of us, trying to do this thing, whatever it was, ended up leading to a lot of economic loss. You know, we had to put a lot of money in this thing. Unemployment. I know for me, it got to a point where when I was working on episode 2, that's all I was thinking about. It was almost like I went crazy in the head, because I didn't have no help as far as other people who could work on this with me. It was just all me by myself, had to do everything. So times where I should have been looking for employment because things were slow, times where I should have focused on my stability and making money, all I was thinking about was going to Starbucks, you know, working on my animation, and that's really it. You know, a lot of dark and morbid thoughts ended up coming in my mind after everything was finished, and looking around and seeing that I'm out of work, I don't got no money, you know, the BandClap TV channel, nobody can even find it on YouTube. It was a really, really dark time. But at the end of the day, I know that when this really gets off the ground and it gets into the right hands, and I'm really able to invest what I need invested into it, I'll be able to make up for all of the lost ground that I had to sacrifice for this passion and for this dream to come true. And this is what you gotta believe in yourself, trust in your divine feminine, that you will be able to make up for all the lost ground from doing this passion that you were spiritually led to do in the first place. You know, but nothing will be easy, and perhaps what you get will not be permanent or even lasting. You know, when you get that victory, you can't slow up. You know, you can't slip up. You know, you can't act like, oh, I've arrived, so let me start slacking. No, this is going to be a constant grind, even when you got a lot of money, even when you have you know, those investors. Because think about when I was talking about the Cashapp records of music. A lot of those artists, the reason why it was easy for them to get taken advantage of and stuff like that was because you know, once they got that first hit album and stuff like that, and that manager gave them that $10,000 check, that $25,000 check, some of them $100,000 check, you know, this is their first time ever touching that kind of money ever. And all of them did the same exact thing. Like, nobody thought to invest. You know, nobody thought to put some aside in a trust that can gain interest. You know, put in something in the bank that can gain interest. Nobody thought to put some of that money in stocks. You know, put some of that money in a appreciating asset or a fund that can appreciate over time or whatever. They all did the same thing. You know, buying cars, jewelry, money, drugs, clothes. And then when everything dried up and they ended up, you know, having to do a full retreat for not learning the lessons for life, you know, the lessons of life received, and the fire and the lava ended up destroying all of their chances that they may take on the ascending path again. No, they was going through it. So in 2022, you have no excuse. You have no excuse to go through those same stumbling blocks, those same setbacks that our forefathers and our foremothers had to go through. You know, but it's up to you to stay on point, stay on the grind. You know, to stay motivated, to stay inspired. You know. All right. So let's see what Tuesday has for us. So planetarily, we know that this week a lot of things that were in retrograde are about to go direct and are about to get out of that state. A lot of things are ending, a lot of endings, a lot of changes, things like that that's going on. You know, so it makes sense that this Iku card is here. You know, this is talking about the end of something, change, transmutation, metamorphosis, you know, renewal, you know. Now in the media, you might see some things about danger or crisis, you know, signs of disease, sicknesses. I know with me, you know, this is around the time of year that I usually get sick. So I've really been making sure that I'm drinking all my teas and my herbs and stuff like that. I purchased this herb box from Zoe Essentials, the herbalist special. So, you know, I'm prepared for this time of year when you know, I usually really have to make sure I got my herbs and stuff like that. So make sure that y'all out there got your herbs, y'all got your whatever things that you would need to make sure that you stay healthy during this time, because the weather is going to change, all of that type of stuff. So another thing that's going to be ending, another thing that's going to be coming to a close and needs to be changed and transmuted is this Yansa card that you see, and it's reversed. So when I see the Yansa card reversed, this is like a cycle that this is kind of like a cycle of ignorance. This is a cycle that you want ended, but you may not know how to end it. This is a inner chaos that's ready to be transmuted. A lot of times when Oya is toxic and stuff like that, sometimes it has to take someone like Obatala, someone like Eshu to tell her about herself, because sometimes other people can try to tell her like, yo, like, you need to stop doing this, or you need to stop doing that, or whatever, and she just won't listen. Sometimes her own spirit guides and stuff like that would try to tell her like, yo, you need to stop doing this, you need to stop going here, you need to change this about yourself, you need to change that about yourself. And sometimes it just takes that Ishu type of figure, or Obatala, or Oppo type of figure to pull her to the side and let her know what's up. So this is another cycle. So this is not only a period in a climate standpoint and in a earthly standpoint that's talking about transmutation and change and things like that. The end of this. This is also talking about the end of an endless cycle. The end of an endless cycle that you've been wanting to change, but maybe you felt like that there's no way that this is going to change. Maybe you feel like that that you may not have what it takes to change. So I pulled 3 clarifiers, because I really wanted to see what all things that you feel like that it's an endless cycle that you can't change. And as you can see, we got all 4 elements. We got Oya, she represents the wind. We got the 10 of water. Well, Oya, she can represent the earth, and she can represent the wind, in a way. So we got that. We got the 10 of water. We got the 7 of air, and we have a message from fire that's reversed. So some of you all, let's walk this down slow. In my Minister Jap voice, let's walk this down slow. Some of us, the cycle that we're going through, and we feel like that there's no change in sight, but you're about to get some communication this week. It may be a little dry, it may be a little, but at the end of the day, if you can heed the message, the harvest that's going to happen as a result is going to be very satisfying. I can say that. So some of us, this never-ending cycle that we feel like can never change has to do with a failed emotional status. A failed emotional status. That's what the 10 of water represents. This is something that we've dreamed about. Pisces, this is something that we've added a lot of emotion into, which is the moon, Neptune, something that we've dreamed so much about that, this could also be an illusion, So, the 10 of water reversed, this talks about your efforts have been in vain. What was free has become trapped within itself, bringing treason and unfaithfulness and loss of spiritual values, high degree of miscommunication, confusion, and shock, serious crisis between a couple or within the group. To return to the water, the fish will have to make a very swift movement, or they will sink. This implies deep sadness and stuff like that. So somebody is in a very toxic, trauma-filled relationship, and the reason why you stayed in this relationship because it was a status. It was a status that came with this relationship that you didn't want to lose. This might have been a career that you've been, going through, This career has really beat you down emotionally and spiritually, but this career pays you a lot of money, you know. And this has turned you into a traumatic Oya type of character because of this. You know, someone who acts like they got it all together on the outside, but someone who is very, very toxic, you know, filled with a lot of sadness, a lot of deep sadness and trauma on the inside, you know. Or this can be talking about someone that is a in a very, very traumatic type of relationship. You know, someone that's in a real traumatic relationship with somebody. And the reason why you don't want to break up with that person is because, you know, this particular partner may have a certain type of status that, you know, the reason why you're at a certain status is because you're with this person and you don't want to lose this status, you know. So either that or, you know, you may be going through something spiritually. You may be going through something spiritually that you need to come out and talk about it. You know, you may be going through something spiritually that you need to come out and talk about it and stuff like that, but you don't want to come out and talk about it because you're scared that someone is going to look at you in a toxic, you know, negative type of way. You know, this is someone who you may think that everything is cool on the outside, but deep down inside they feel defeated. You know, this is a cycle that's about to change. But at the end of the day, the only way that this can change and the only way that this can be transmuted, you know, you got to come to terms with the situation. You got to be willing to walk away from the status, whether it was a high status. You got to be able to walk away from this status. You know, you got to be able to transcend this element of keeping everything in. You got to be able to transcend this element of you just keeping it all to yourself and not letting anyone in that can really help you, and not wanting to seek therapy and stuff like that. You gotta get off of that. You know, in order for this IKU to work in your favor, to transform this, you know, you got to transcend from your element, being able to survive with half of you being vulnerable. You know, that's the only way that you're going to be able to join forces with the right people and have a positive mental request or petition. You know, you gotta be able to cross barriers and stay for a while in another context or environment. You know, you got to be able to ask and be thankful through faith for the lasting joy that you end up receiving, and understand that the reason why you are powerful, the reason why you are a king or a queen, is not because of someone else that's outside of you. You know, very important. So that's one group of people that's going through a vicious cycle, inner trauma cycle, toxic cycle that's about to come to an end, that needs to be transmuted. You know. So next, let's go to this 7 of air. You see Uranus here and you see Saturn here. So this cycle right here, this deals with abandonment in relationships due to a over communication or a lack of communication. We know that Uranus, it deals with independence, individual freedom, originality, and things like that. It is in Taurus, so a lot of us, if this is a low self-esteem, you know, that means that our individual freedom is given to us from a agenda perspective or maybe a material perspective. If this is due to a high self-esteem, you know, this makes us, you know, this Uranus and Taurus, this makes it to where we feel so independent on the inside that it's like We don't care if we got to walk away from everything in order for us to keep this, you know. Now, also we got Saturn in that card, and right now Saturn is in Aquarius. You know, Saturn deals with concentration, effort, perseverance, time, the hard reality, inevitable consequences, things like that. So, you know, someone who has a healthy Saturn in Aquarius, you know, they're gonna be very intelligent. They're gonna be very calculated with how they choose to voice their passions and things like that, because they understand the inevitable consequences that can happen if they don't concentrate and if they don't make the right decision. Now, if this Saturn in Aquarius is unhealthy, you know, this is someone who keeps making the same mistake over and over. You know, they go through consequences and they go through things, and it's like it don't harbor any maturity within them, you know. So when we're talking about this in regards to this seven of air, and we're talking about different you know, we're talking about different relationships and things like that, this cycle where you know, communication is always the reason why you end up getting abandoned, or feeling abandoned. Some of y'all are in relationships. You know, you have this cycle to where you're in these relationships, and even in the relationship you feel abandoned because you feel like that that maybe you can't be vulnerable around the person that you're with. You can't be vulnerable and you can't show any weakness. You know, you can't show any vulnerability or anything like that. And at the end of the day, you know, that's toxic, you know, because that can lead to infidelity. It might not lead all the time to sexual infidelity, but it leads you to have to go to someone that is outside of your partner in order to get something that you wish that you could have gotten with your significant other, you know. So let's break this down when we're talking about a man perspective, and then I'm gonna break it down in the woman perspective, you know. So in the man perspective, your Saturn in Aquarius in the 11th house, you know, your Saturn in Aquarius, this may become toxic because you may be in a type of relationship, or you might be in a type of partnership, because this can mean partnerships as far as you know, on the job, or this can talk about partnerships when it comes to you know, maybe you're a part of a company or something like that, and you got to walk on eggshells with what you choose to express and all of that type of stuff, you know. But you know, just talking about in relationships, so we can kind of keep it linear. So you may be the type of guy, either A, you might be the type of guy to where you've been through a lot of trauma in your life, you've been through a lot of hardships and things like that. So you understands when it comes to you know, the different passions and the different things that comes with impulse and stuff like that. You know, things that deal with Aries, like passions, impulses, you know, all that type of stuff. When to fight, when not to fight, you know, when to express your sexual energy, when not to express it, all that type of stuff. You've been through a lot of things in your life to where you've seen how if you're not intelligent with how you express these things, you see how bad things can go or whatever. But maybe you're with a woman who you know, she was probably able to get certain, you know, to get those things out or whatever without anything major happening to her, you know. So if she's kind of carefree, happy-go-lucky in that department, this might end up with you feeling a abandonment, or you feeling you know, you feeling like she'll never be able to understand where you're coming from, which may lead to her saying different things to you that you feel like is, you know, disrespectful, you know. And this may end up turning into arguments. She's telling you like, why don't you just do this, or why don't you just say this? And it's like you're trying to tell her like, yo, like, you as a man, I can't do that, or as a man, I can't say this, or I can't get away with this thing, or whatever, because there's going to be an inevitable consequence if I do it versus if you do it. And some women, they just don't understand it. Same way as if it was on the other way around. This is going to lead to you feeling abandoned. This is going to lead to a lack of communication, or whatever. And since hurt people, you end up in this endless cycle, getting with these different types of people, So let's talk about it from a Taurus. Let's talk about this from a Uranus and Taurus perspective. So this is someone who carries himself with a lot of value on the inside. He's the type of person to where he don't need to wear nice, like super brand type of clothes and name brand car and all of this type of stuff. But maybe you end up getting with someone and they feel a low self-esteem unless they have those type of things or whatever. Once that other person feels like that they got enough material things of value and they don't really need you no more, they're going to end up abandoning you. And then you on the other end, you're gonna feel hurt. You're gonna feel neglected and left out in the cold because you saw something inside of that other person that they couldn't see in themselves, and you fell in love with that. But the other person, the reason why they got with you was for a come up. And these are some of the things that that leads to these traumatic cycles and things like that, that needs to end, that's about to end. A lot of these things are about to end. A lot of these things are about to transmute. It needs to transmute. So let's talk about this from a spiritual standpoint. You're going through this cycle to where, and in a way, this is kind of what I'm going through. You get into a cycle to where you get this idea and, you feel really, really good about it. You feel passionate about it. But, things on the outside, you don't, it's like you got a fire. You got a really big fire that you started, and you don't really have a whole lot of lighter fluid. So you put all of this lighter fluid into this fire, and it's a big fire, but it's going out fast. And you're in a barren, it's like you're in a barren desert. So you're trying to find, little sticks. You're trying to find branches. You're trying to find anything that you can find to feed this fire, to keep it alive. And the more you look around, you don't want to walk too far away from the fire, because you're scared that that somebody else may see it and, they may end up putting it out, or they may end up trying to get it for themselves or whatever, and you feel like you may not have enough lighter fluid to start a fire that big again, but then when you look around you, you don't hardly see any wood or anything that can kind of keep this fire going, and you start to lose hope, and you start to feel abandoned. You start to feel emotionally drained and stuff like that. And this is a never-ending cycle, with all of these new ideas and stuff that you try to put some fire behind to try to get this off the ground, So if this is you out here, remember, do not lose hope if your energy seems to disappear. Go back to the path that was apparently lost. Find strength in your soul family. Listen to their advice and pay much attention to their suggestions. Do not allow only ashes to remain after all your work. Recover lost love, reinforce your defenses, enliven your optimism. Again, this goes back to what I was saying about my messengers. Anytime that I really feel down and I just really feel like I don't know where to turn, I always have my messengers that I can listen to, that I can watch, and they can confirm what spirit has already been telling me inside, you know, because at the end of the day, a lot of us that's going through these cycles and stuff like that, a lot of times we feel like we're alone. You know, that's where this 8 of earth comes in at. You know, a lot of times we feel like we're alone. We feel misunderstood. You know, 8, that Scorpio, we feel alone. We feel like no one understands us, all of this type of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's almost like a why not you? Like you're the only one that's prepared enough. You're the only one that's prepared enough to go through this and actually come out on the other side. You got to understand that the reason why you're going through this is because you're on a road less traveled, you know, at a slow but safe pace. Through learning, you will be able to use your potential and enjoy everything you have attained if you can just keep going forward. That's what this harvest is about. You will become aware that you were able to create not only new systems for profit, but also science, arts, and alchemy. From the most trivial to that which the human mind has not yet even discovered. You know, but this does not mean that you cannot ask for help. So that's very important. And that was a long reading for Tuesday. I know somebody needed to hear that. So let's see what Wednesday has for us. So I had to do some more clarifiers for this one. You know, we got the Yemoya card, which is a divine feminine energy, a great mother, divine feminine type of energy that we all need to be connecting to right now. The great mother energy. And right next to her, you got the Sun card, which is success in your professional marital or extramarital love life, or in any event or situation you are going through. Since the Sun is a creator, he affords us creative power for art and science. You know, this talks about fortune, but you gotta be able to go within, you know, which is the 9 of fire. You gotta be able to go within and just like I did in my dream, you gotta see yourself already completing what it is that you're trying to accomplish. You know, and at the end of the day, in order for you to do that, you know, in order for you to not feel like that, you know, that you're going through something that you could not or fail to obtain, you know, you feel like you wasted your time and all of that type of stuff, postponing valuable things for superficial ones and all of that type of stuff, you know. Instead, when you truly feel like all hope is lost and you're trying to stay afloat, you know, you're trying to stay positive, the best thing that you can do is have a apparent inactivity, because at the end of the day, your actions will be more mental or spiritual as you enter a stage of self-improvement during which it is necessary to save energy. For that purpose, it is advisable for you to refrain from material things to reach higher levels of consciousness. You know, abstain from alcohol and sex, whatever you need to abstain from, so that you can keep yourself vibrating as high as you can. You know, making sure, you know, even with the message of air, you gotta be able to stick to what you agreed on and not let yourself down, knowing that you got what it takes in order for you to finish your work creation project, tasks or procedures, knowing that negative things will disappear and your capacity will be seen. You got to tune up your senses and train yourself more intensely, you know, and know that you'll always have great prospects. You know, you got to be able to do this even when you're going through disagreements, all that type of stuff, which is the Ace of Air reversed. You're going through disagreements with people. You know, you're going through treachery, all these type of things, because at the end of the day, you know, you can see a ace of water that nobody else can see. You know, Ace of Water, you know, this is talking about you know, times of great beauty and joy. someone who makes a balance between the past and present, and they will project a future of love. Feelings prevail without mental or psychic confusion. The only way that you're going to be able to get through this, you can't have mental or psychic confusion. And right now, with a lot of the water planets and fire planets kind of debilitated, it can be really easy to be tempted. You know, so you have to stand strong. You know, you got to stand strong, be encouraged, connect with your inner Yemoya. You know, I'm over here at Starbucks. You know, this is the Yemoya energy. You know, always being able to connect to something that represents that, even if it's on an inner level. You know, very important. So let's see what Thursday has for us. As you can see, we got the Guardian Angel card, and the Guardian Angel card is the baby Legba. You know, some of us right now are going through issues with jobs, lack of employment. Some of us, in order for us to regain our peace and our sanity, some of us, we've had to let go of certain jobs. You know, we've had to let go of certain jobs and certain things so that we can keep our sanity or whatever. But staying in tune with your spirit team, you know, which is going to be some messengers, some baby Legba messengers that are, you know, that are some guardian angels around you. You know, they're always going to feed you emotionally, you know, to help you with that inner feminine. You know, the Two of Water talks about feast and happiness of a great love based on harmony. You know, so it's almost like you having to leave one situation so that a better situation that you never would have been able to get, you know, if you would have stayed in that other situation. Now this is able to come to you. You know, this talks about a love affair with a mutual understanding, spirituality, tender feelings of piety and charity. But in order for you to be able to listen and do this, your love or companionship has to be beyond the material, and it has to deepen in a crystalline and limpid waters where mysticism reaches the highest values. You know, so you end up leaving something that you was only in, and you felt like it was a job, you know, to something that you're actually happy with doing, even though at first it may not seem like it's going to give you the same value as what you just left from, aka the Ace of Earth reversed. You know, so this is a choice. You know, Legba, you know, Eshu, Metcalfu, Papa Legba, you know, represents different types of crossroads that we have to go through in our life. You know, and at the end of the day, you got to decide which means more to you right now. The money, the status of being high value and all of that, but you're toxic on the inside. You're going through this trauma on the inside. You know, on the inside, you're hurting, you're sad, you're lonely on the inside. Or do you want to listen to your guardian angel that's trying to present you with a opportunity to where you know, you can be content, you know, you can have your peace of mind, your sanity, you can be a part of something that's actually going to lead to something positive, something that you always dreamed of, even though you know, it might not have, you know, the outer value just yet of what it is, you know, that you left from. So don't be stubborn. You know, that's what this Ace of Earth reverse. Don't be stubborn. Don't have characteristics that will drive you to confusion or blindness. Reconsider the situation. Do not let yourself get carried away by passion, greed, or lack of altruism. That's the only way that you'll be able to that's the only way that you're going to be able to take advantage of these new harvest opportunities that you're about to get. Now, the reason why this is even being the reason why this is even being presented to you right now, because of all the trauma that you've been through in the past. That's what this village card represents. It's almost like you done lost so much, and you done been through so much trying to keep this high status up, trying to keep this holier than thou, mentally ill Obatala energy. You've been trying to keep this Sagittarius in the 10th house up, so high that it's like people on the outside can see, how much of a shell of who you used to be is showing. And if you don't jump on this, that your guardian angels is trying to show you right now, this is gonna lead to some very negative consequences or whatever. Because this village card talks about irretrievable losses, destruction, rapture, lack of communication with and or from others, self-punishment, guilt complex, masochism. This is someone who just don't want to change, even though we can see how this is affecting you on such a bad level, and then, with the enslaved prisoner reverse, it makes so much sense, because it's like you're doing it to yourself. Don't nobody got a gun up to your head telling you that you gotta stay in this. Ain't nobody telling you that if you don't leave, something bad gonna happen to you or whatever. This is all self-punishment that you're doing to yourself at the end of the day. This enslaved prisoner card, it talks about, at the end of the day, you got to realize that the greatest pain has ceased if you make a decision right now that you want to change. The greatest pain has ceased if you make a decision right now that that enough is enough, and you're ready to make this change. You started with the man in the mirror, and now you're ready to make this change. But the effects of incomprehension still affect you. So it's up to you to break the chains, whether it's physical, moral, spiritual, or mental. You can do it. Avail yourself of the truth that your enemies and torturers have granted you. Ease your tension and forgive with the sublimation of love. You must face reality. Luke 23:34. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Very important. So this is you making that leap. You might be trying to make an animated series, or you might be trying to do something, and you see that the only people that's going to be able to help you out are some Asian people, some Middle Eastern people, and maybe some white people. And you might have some pro-black flunkies coming at you all sideways, talking about you a sellout, you this, you that, because you working with them and all of that. And then when you try to ask them, like, okay, do you know any black people in this position? And they sound like Mushmouth off a Fat Album. They sound like Porky the Pig. So you gotta make a decision. What means more to you? This status of someone that's failing because they want to keep it real, or do you actually want to succeed and get your message to the masses? Like, that's what I thought that this was supposed to be about. So at the end of the day, it's all up to you. All right. So let's see what Friday has for us. So at the end of the day, it's one thing my dad always says. He always say the devil is busy, and he come to do 3 things: steal, kill, and destroy. So let's take that. We got the devil card at the bottom. The devil is really gonna be busy, because he feels like that he's gonna be able to infiltrate. He's gonna be able to infiltrate you and get you to make the wrong decisions. Based on toxic emotions, to get you to trust in the wrong things. Based on based on hoping that your spiritual discernment is very low, and stuff like that. The main thing right now, when we look at this Earth card reverse, the main thing the devil is going to try to steal right now is your sense of status. You know, the way that you can combat the devil trying to steal your sense of status. You know, you got to represent this Babaluaye card above. You know, the way that you're going to be able to combat this, you know, you got to have a high fraternal and spiritual sense. You know, you got to have a high fraternal and spiritual sense. You know, this is how in the Bible Jesus was able to combat the devil when he would try to get him to do stuff. You know, so then, you know, the devil has come to kill. So what can the devil kill? The devil can kill, you know, Virgo. The devil can kill your work ethic. And the way that he can kill your work ethic is by taking you away from your inner child essence, which, you know, this Babaluaye card talks about being charitable and humanitarian power, spirit of service, strong imagination, and an organizing mind. You know, that's what you can use, you know, in order for you to block the devil's attacks of trying to kill your work ethic by trying to disconnect you from your inner child essence. You know, and you know, at the end of the day, if you let the devil be successful at doing this, you know, you can see if you're trying to be tempted in this type of way, when you start to feel a losing of strength, imprudence, you feel like there's a lack of security measures against outside dangers. You feel like your defenses are weak. You feel like that your actions are not coinciding with your feelings or with what is proper. You know, you feel like you're going through an impossible exchange and stuff like that. You know, so the way that you can keep this charitable humanitarian power and the spirit of service and this strong imagination and organizing mind, you need to join forces for mutual understanding and protection. You know, companionship in a new enterprise or job. The joining of feelings compared to our deeds expresses a logical equivalent and a rationalist attitude. You know, if you put these principles into practice, your domination and your achievements will increase. You know, man shall not live by bread alone. You know, so then the devil is going to try to destroy. The devil is going to try to destroy your self-worth, Taurus. He's going to try to destroy your self-worth. He's going to try to destroy your value and all of those type of things. But what can help you with this? Let's go back to the Babaluaye card. Strongly sensitive to the pain of others, both physical and spiritual. You got to always be willing to cooperate as much as possible, and this quality becomes more noticeable with the passing of time. You know, a process of illness that comes to an end, recovery and improvement from a state. And at the end of the day, you know, there's a gospel song out here that explains this perfectly. What God has for me, it is for me. That's why I always say at least 75 to 80%. You know, it might be hard to get to 80%, but you'll really be you know, doing it big if 75 to 80% of the joy that you have on a regular basis is rooted in something that the world didn't give to you. Because if the world didn't give it to you, then the world can't take it away. So if the devil runs the world, you know, and it's nothing that the devil gave to you that you really place of any high value, when the devil tries to destroy those things, it's not going to hurt you. And as long as you keep this Babaluaye energy inside of you, you'll always be able to end up getting back everything that you lost and then some. And then that's where we got the 10 of Earth. You know, this is someone that's unbreakable. You know, someone that that can be at their last and still end up bouncing back. You know, someone that got what they wanted. You know, someone that understands that nothing was free, but on the contrary, they got it only with effort and tenacity. Today, their social standing is stable and rich, and you are admired and respected by others. Your success could have been inherited. If so, go on with it, and the circle will be endless, without beginning or end. Someone that is always going to end up in a position to increase what they have, whether it's land, houses, business, whatever. You know. So as long as you keep that Babaluaye attitude, that through alchemy you can always, you always have that power to turn nothing into something. Is nothing that this world could ever do to steal your joy. All right. So now we are on the weekend, baby. Let's see what Saturday has for us. So, Saturday, this is talking about, having maturity, taking accountability, and doing what needs to be done, no matter what, in order for you to keep that vibration high and to keep that peace of mind, even if this means that, six of air, you might have to make a exodus. You might have to move. That's what the six of air is talking about. Pilgrimage, congregation, a exodus, going away to find something new or highly desired. Your final destiny, may come through water or other lands. So this is someone who is only focused on their peace. They're focused on their spiritual enlightenment and stuff like that, and that's all they care about. And they're willing to uproot if that means that that they'll be able to be reunited with that peace, with that spiritual peace. And I mean, when you look at the two cards that's under it, you can understand why they're feeling like this, because wherever they're at mentally, they've gone crazy mentally, psychological disorder, mental imbalance, is messing with their health and things like that. Emotionally, they're going through a depression, sadness, grief, sorrow. They always got to look over their shoulder, hidden enemies, negative changes, bad spiritual influences. They feel tortured. They feel like a loss of freedom, nervousness, imbalance. So when you see what this moon card and this salamander card means, you understand why. This six of air, this Aquarius in the first house, you're trying to, not only are you trying to do this for a spiritual level, you're doing this because maybe you finally seen on an outer level how stupid you look by staying in this situation, by keep on subjecting yourself to this trauma. So that's very important, making sure that you heed that message. So last but not least, let's see what Sunday has for us. So to end this super long reading, at the end of the day, everything is going to reveal itself in time. You just at the end of the day, it's so much better if you can just take heed to the signs that are shown to you, take heed to the signs that are given to you, so that you don't have to go through nothing super bad because you didn't listen to those, you didn't pay attention and see those early signs and stuff like that. So for those who y'all feel like enough is enough, and y'all are trying to enter this new frontier, you're trying to enjoy you're trying to enjoy this harvest. You know, you're using this harvest to embark on whatever it is that you feel spiritually and emotionally and mentally that you know is going to give you what you always wanted, no matter what anybody else says or thinks about it. This Ace of Fire just talks about a push. You know, you got this push to undertake this new job or this new enterprise or whatever. You have characteristics of a leader, able to undertake any activity. Although you delegate the toughest work to others, you supervise and monitor good performance. You are a charismatic person who will not be unnoticed. Your impulse may be great, but you know when to break in time. There will be no dullness or sadness because of your personal touch. You know, great sexual vigor. You know, all these things return back to you when you're in alignment. You know, full activity in that field, fireness. Your effort will be noticed, but you will also have to make an effort, since to obtain results, it is necessary to have the power of decision. You know, so when you realize that this is who you are, and you're able to transcend, you know, the water element. You know, you're able to persevere through uncomfortable emotional situations. Cancer. You're able to transform and use your power of alchemy to transcend the Scorpio element, and then you're able to use the power that you have inside to make your dreams come true, which is Pisces. You know, you're gonna really start to see the true colors of the people that's around you. You know, you're gonna see how disloyal some of your friends or some of your so-called friends really are. You're gonna see, you know, when it comes to the outcast reversed, you know, this can talk about someone who wants to go along to get along. You know, this is, you know, someone who don't really got their own. This is somebody who don't really got their own mind. They always got to be up under somebody. You know, they're kind of like NPCs. You know, they feel damn near suicidal if they don't got nobody that they can follow. You know, when you start to work in your inner Shango, you know, you become one with that Obanani energy, and you become the Shango in your life. You become the Obatala, the Sagittarius in the midheaven in your life. You're gonna truly see the people around you for who they really are. You know, if they're really leaders, you know, or are they really followers of the system, or do they got their own mind? Are they too scared to take risks because their risks may end up putting them in a temporary uncomfortable situation, or is what matters the most you doing what your higher self wanted you to do all along? You know, one thing that I really had to learn in my journey is that some people, there's no changing them. Some people, there's no saving. Some people, there's just no pleasing. You know, you might have to, some people, you know, they might have to go through many different lifetimes in order for them to get this. And this is where you got to have grace and mercy, but also you got to be able to understand, like, yo, where I'm going in this new frontier of my life, you can't come with me if you don't have the same type of passion, the same type of spirit that I have. And it's okay. You know, these people, they may secretly end up being your ops. You got to be ready for that. You know, these people might be trying to, you know, throw dirt on your name, disloyalty, weakness of purpose. You know, you got to be ready for that. Talking bad about you, all that. You got to be ready for that. You know, because at the end of the day, the truth will always prevail. The truth will always prevail. And if y'all can heed that message, my friends, you will be glad that you did. This was a very powerful reading. I hope y'all got something from this. When I started this, it was super bright outside. Now it's pitch black. So hopefully I can get this out tonight, Monday night. as you all know, if you all would like a reading from me, I do these type of readings on my website, www.bandclaptv.com. While you're there, you can check out my animated series called Issues World. I always put my donation links, in the descriptions of my videos. If you want to donate, if you go to my services tab, you can see all the services, the readings, and things like that, the consultations that I provide. All of these things helps me to get closer to my goal, so I can, be able to perfect and make this animated series something that's going to last even after I'm gone. That's the goal. So I appreciate everyone who stayed till the end to watch this, and until next time, peace. What's up, y'all? I hope y'all enjoyed that video, and if you stayed to the end, I appreciate you. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, I want to redirect you to my Instagram page. I don't promote my Instagram page a lot, but as my subscriber count and things like that rise due to things like shadow banning and stuff like that, I'm hearing that a lot of people aren't getting my notifications when I go live on YouTube and stuff like that. So for all things BandClap TV, my Instagram page and my story are going to have all of the notifications and things like that when it comes to when I'm going live, when I'm going, when I'm releasing videos, when I'm releasing content. Also on my Instagram page, if you're curious about my reviews for my readings and stuff like that, as you can see on my Instagram, I have a lot of different testimonials and stuff like that. For those who don't know of me as an artist, I also have videos of me performing and stuff like that. I'll be putting out more stuff like that very, very soon. So I'm just trying to get as many people right now to go ahead and follow me on Instagram. That is BandClap TV, and also my Facebook and Snapchat, BandClap TV as well. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all, and like I always say, no matter what, you got to stay shining. You got to stay shining.